For the longest time, I have adored the special edition of Terminator 2. It adds more complexity to the narrative, fleshes out characters, and makes for a more enjoyable ride. Something extended versions of films usually do, which is why I usually prefer them. After seeing the film in 3D in theaters, it sealed the deal. The theatrical cut is just too empty for me as a moviegoer. However, I do think the special edition runs a little long in some areas or repeats itself, so a trim is needed. If I were the editor for the film, this is the version I would construct. I'm going to use the 2015 Blu-ray release of the special edition as a base, and the 2015 Blu-ray theatrical cut to supplement the story. It has a more original magenta warm tint to it versus the 4K remaster's teal tint with DNR, digital noise reduction. I'm aware of the great detail that the new 4K transfer has, but the overblown highlights, crushed shadows, and faux digital color grading makes me not want to use it. I will, however, use the 4K transfer's new digital fixes, like removing stunt doubles and camera crew, to make this version as perfect as possible. I am not a trained nor professional colorist, so if you are and you would like in on this project, let me know. Without further ado, let's do this. I'm going to delete Sarah getting mistreated by the guards, making her take her meds and beating her, as well as Sarah's hallucination with Kyle. Sure, it doesn't make sense when the guard says, "Sure, Dr. Silverman, we'll take care of it," and they never take care of it in the theatrical cut. However, there is an argument that less is more in this case, because later in the film you see Sarah getting licked by one of the guys, so you can kind of put the puzzle together for yourself that she was abused somehow earlier in the film. And it's a great cut transition into the next scene with the T-1000 and his police car tire. It's tough to delete because it shows the audience her horrible conditions, gaining their sympathy, and it also gives the origin of the line "no fate" that she says from Kyle. But it drags on a bit too long and repeats itself with the guard abuse and the destruction dream/nightmare of the nuke going off, which we see again later in the film, which then it is much more important motivation-wise for her to jump into her next event, which is hunting Dyson. So it has to go. I'm going to keep the T-1000 stealing the police car because it shows how he gets around. We saw him earlier in the film getting around with a police car, and now he gets another vehicle, and we end up seeing him get the motorcycle later, so it kind of makes sense to bridge the gap of where he's going event-wise. It also spreads the pacing out with John and the T-800 in back-to-back scenes with the daylight changing so quickly. And I also like nearly magic hour of Los Angeles. I'm going to delete the dog Max getting killed, even though it makes sense for the story, and it is really a great cut too of knives and stabbing weapons. Why can't the T-1000 just look at a sign in the doghouse that says Max instead? Plus, the way the T-1000 has Janelle look at Todd is not a "he's annoying me," but rather a "don't you talk smack about dogs, you radio edit." But the T-1000 doesn't need to find out. We can just assume that he found out and he was duped by the T-800 because the T-800 hangs up. I hate animal abuse also. I actually had an alternate idea where the T-1000 goes into the backyard to see the shepherd, and right when he goes to interact with the dog, bam! Cut to photos slamming on the table. I love smash edits, but I don't think I want to include the dog at all, so I deleted it. I'm going to keep the T-800 resetting of mind scene near the midpoint of the film. I talked about this in my psychoanalysis previous video, in my cinema series essays. Without this scene, the sequence feels so empty and just non-human. It also pays off with John saying, "If I'm supposed to be a great military leader, maybe you should listen to my ideas for a change." Sarah also arcs when she fails to kill Dyson. She realizes John is a leader in the making because she came to stop Sarah from doing so. Also, it plays into the last scene where Sarah lowers the T-800 to terminate the one last chip, his brain. So it comes full circle. Awesome writing. And of course, I'm gonna keep the T-800 learning to smile. It's hilarious and it adds to the smirk he gives later with the minigun he picks up in Enrique's hidden armory. Now, I had a really cool edit planned.
How much do you know about Dyson?
I wanted to originally delete the T-800's line after Sarah asks him, "How much do you know about Dyson?" insinuating that she's going to ask him about the files, and the Terminator obviously knows. He knows everything else that they just talked about in the car. There's no reason to baby the audience. The transition to Dyson's house is an artsy one, and I love the less is more edit. However, it's just too fast of a cut because he speaks almost instantly to her. I think that if I had a 1, 2, 3, 4, bam, and at least a couple seconds, I then cut to the house, it would have been so much more artsy, but unfortunately he just speaks so fast. It just doesn't work enough, so I just chose to keep the whole exchange where Sarah just tells the audience, oh, I want to know everything about him, even though my idea is artsier. There is a way, if I could somehow slow down him turning his head and mask that over just the background still going faster, but I'm unfortunately not good enough or skilled enough with post-production that I cannot do that. But if that was possible, that would be my cut. Of course, cutting to Dyson's house means I'm going to keep Dyson extended with his family. It fleshes him out as a character, it raises stakes, and makes a more dramatic future scene of Sarah attempting to snipe him. It also helps with his character in wanting to destroy Cyberdyne. His work was meaningful to him, and he wasn't just some random dude helping out the crew. We got to know him before he made his sacrifice. I'm going to keep the extra Sarah Enrique dialogue. It's slightly unnecessary because, I mean, who cares about this random dude? But it's hella moody. You know, wind, T-1000 being out there, Judgment Day is coming, oh, and it builds up to the next scene. And of course, I will keep the extra dialogue of the T-800 and John with the weapons. It adds more bonding with John, insight of the Terminator's ideology, and some possible foreshadowing that the T-800 could die later. It's also quite moody. I cut down the nightmare scene a bit. I mean, there's no need for this much destruction, especially the skeleton at the end. It saves a little bit of time. I already know Judgment Day is bad. I saw it in the opening credits. Things are incinerating. There's no need to prolong the scene. I already know crap is going down. I'm going to keep the extended Sarah sneaks onto Dyson's property because the mood and cinematography is excellent and the house is aesthetically pleasing. Not to mention, it adds more tension, building up to the moment when she shoots. Even though the argument for the theatrical cut where the red dot sight on Dyson's head is more artsy because it's more surprising there, is it really surprising? The audience knows she's headed there, so the answer is no. Special edition extended footage is better. I'm going to keep Dyson wanting to do the hammering and all that at Skynet bits. He asks for an axe, say that 10 times fast, and it helps his character become nearly full circle and arc. And I'm going to delete the extended footage and going to keep the theatrical version of the T-1000 and the lead works because it makes him stronger / more unbeatable. I think James Cameron or somebody said that years ago, and I completely agree with them. Him getting tied up literally does nothing for the story. I'm going to keep the original theatrical cut special edition ending, not the extended special edition that has, you know, the old makeup Sarah and she's watching John play. That happy ending is titled Judgment Day. Honestly, the happy ending is incredible and it does work well for the story. It is in the original script. It's not depressing, drives home the main contextual theme of the film, and it doesn't reuse footage of the Cyberdyne Systems road. However, the old makeup on Sarah looks not that great, and you choose that Judgment Day does not happen, and the film franchise is wrapped up completely, pretty much leaving no room for sequels. Considering how those turned out, yes, it might not be a bad thing after all. And finally, Cameron doesn't like this ending, and, well, that's enough for me. And I'm going to keep these special edition credits. It's important to acknowledge everyone that worked on the film, including any extended pieces added into the movie. And like previously mentioned, this version includes all 4K digital remaster edits. The knife goes straight into the bar. Robert Patrick's genitals are not seen. Arnold's stunt double for a couple of shots is removed. The camera crew with the truck twice and equipment outside mental hospital are removed. The truck's windshield does not fall out. Arnold's hidden arm is missing. His actual arm. Thanks to movie censorship for being eagle eyes and catching the new changes. However, some of the shots are not color corrected perfectly because once again, I'm not a trained professional colorist. If you are and you want to get in on my project, please contact me because I could use your services to help me out. I tried the best to my abilities. The theatrical cut runs $216.35. The special edition runs $233.27. My own cut, total runtime, $227.37, rated R. Hope you enjoyed this video and this fan edit. I prefer this version to the special edition and definitely to the theatrical cut. Thank you for watching another episode of Cinema Series. I'm your host, Matthew. You may follow me on social media at Michael Manman on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can support this channel fiscally. You can leave a tip in the tip jar down below. You can go to the Amazon store, which I'll link in the description. My preferred Terminator 2 Blu-ray, not the 4K combo pack that looks teal, has digital noise reduction, aka people look waxy. This version has film grain. It's the superior transfer of the film, and I think it's only like $7. So, and you can support me by giving me, I guess, like a penny or 10 cents or whatever the heck I make off of that. But that's the superior version. Link is in the description. Of course, you don't have to buy stuff. Like, I have my Terminator, I have 2 design t-shirts in my t-shirt shop where you can buy a hoodie or leggings or an iPhone case if you want to of them. And you don't have to tip in the tip jar, but those options are there. You can support the channel for free by leaving a comment, giving the video a like, subscribing, and sharing this video with a friend if they like fan cuts. I hope to have more of them, and I hope to have more of them soon. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. God bless.
End of line.
Good luck and congratulations on choosing
CR Press.
Regret to have the American ambassador expelled after the incident. The U.S. State Department responded quickly with a formal apology and announcement of the ambassador's immediate voluntary